Welcome. Thank you for being here. It's for me, it's Friday, and I am in love. I love that song. I love The Cure. I love everything about that, and I love that I'm about to get to spend a couple of hours with you guys to finish off my week. I mean, seriously, what's not to love? I hope everyone else is having as good a day as I am, or night, or whatever it may be, wherever you are. And tonight, I wanted to start the I Am a Predator series. I think I may have, like a long time ago, um, done a video on this. I don't think I've streamed this, but I may, but I don't remember. But in any case, these are a great set of calls. They, it's got a bit of everything. There's a lot of Lorne crying, which you know, is always good. Um, there's a lot of law denying shit and that kind of stuff. And I mean, look, there is parts of this call that are frustrating, and it must have been frustrating as all shit for Tiffany to go through all this. And then at the end, basically, he learned nothing and pretty much just goes back to denial. But in any case, it's a fun journey. So let's go on that journey together, shall we? Um, so yeah, look, let's say hello to everyone, and let's crack right into it. So we'll do this over a few streams because they're quite long altogether, but that is all good. And someone, oh God, I'm so bad at remembering names, but um, whatever their name is, something Aurelia brought to my attention that this stream will actually be my 100th upload, which is really, really crazy. Um, like when I started out, I didn't think anyone would like this. I didn't even know if I would like this. So I thought, let's do a couple videos, see, and if I get, you know, less than say 20 people saying shut the fuck up, you Aussie dickhead, I might keep doing it. But I didn't get a lot of people saying shut the fuck up, you Aussie dickhead, which is lovely. But yeah, the whole, you guys are the reason that I want to stream pretty much every spare moment I get. So thank you for that. Anyway, enough from me. G'day to Majestic Felcor and Vexy and La Senorita and Evil Little McNuggets and Witchert and Cybersqueak and Cahootin with April from Circle K and Kitty Velociraptor. I do live so far in the future because I burnt so many people in the past. G'day Smokey the Cat. Rude Judy was uneventful today. Oh well, there was some hairy ones in there, but I made it through and got here late as always. I am the Senate. Hello, and Javon. Hello, I haven't seen Javon before. Welcome. Carrot Gaming and the Duchess of Cornville and Vexy and who else we got? Ellison Marie Armstrong. Hello, Asbury Brad. And speaking of Asbury Brad, thank you to them for the lovely stream art tonight. Ped Belly, country music superstar. Vast Ravioli, g'day Vast. I hope you didn't end your stream because of me. Like I was happy to push mine back. I was really enjoying yours, even though I got there quite late. I mean, it's only fair that I get to everyone's streams late. Seeing I'm always late to my own, right? Anthony R. Rachel D. Good to see you again, Rachel. Chris Bromelo, Bear on a Tricycle. G'day, Bear. Sean McClure. He is literally standing up on his own. Weird versions. This is rubbish. It's not Friday. It's Friday for me, mate. Pussy Destroyer and John Fishman and Dinosaur Tornado and Duchess and Daft Cracks and wow, it just jumped around again. You fucking YouTube. Anderson Birdbath. And I think I said hello to Mandy S. If not, hello Mandy S. And also Turtlehead 2 and Anno Rourke and Yes, I agree. Cybersqueak, some of the best work from Tiffany. And Logan W. And also Becca Hoy. And what's the congrats for? Did someone do something awesome? I haven't seen that in the chat, but if you did, well done as well. Um, who else we got here? We've got oh, you you guys are congratulating me. I'm a fucking idiot, like a legitimate idiot. Well, thank you all very much. Um, and like I say, you should be thanking yourself. Like if you guys were assholes, then I wouldn't waste my time doing this. um, G'day, Poop Frog. Good to see you, Poop Frog. Geometric Headdress. Hello. And Eric Chandler and Mootang, and VA Hoss, and Misfit71, and I think that's everyone. Okay, if I've missed you, sorry, and yell at me. Yell at me, why don't you? And let's just get straight into the call because I've made enough of an idiot of myself for at least the next 5 or 6 minutes.
I'm good.
Well, it's going better than what it was.
Okay, that's a good start.
It's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of a rough day.
Little hungover today?
No,
Oh.
no, I just.
I bet you fucking are. You're always hungover. G'day KY, g'day Becca V, g'day Patrick Mordeeb. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your bad health, mate. I hope that clears up soon for you, and always great to see you in the stream. And you know, maybe you can join in the chat about my big himbo energy.
All the talking that I've done with Winnie and with Emma and Maria and the class.
Yeah.
It's been hard.
Okay. Well, what did you guys talk about?
I figured out I need to stop my bullshit. It's just a lot of things that have happened to me bothers me. It bothers me, and I put it off on other people.
Bothers me.
I get hateful because of things that have happened to me on the internet. Because of the internet, fucking how to deal with the internet, how to deal with my thoughts, and how to live with the crap that I did, and why I go over Tony and Wendy's, and how I don't want to go over Tony and Wendy's, but I wind up going over there, how I can't stand Wendy. I really can't stand Tony either.
Okay, well, why don't we kind of start there? Why did you go there yesterday?
I'm just bored.
Well, fucking do something. Like, fix up your house. Do something. I mean, as like Ramona suggested to you way back now, like, fucking play video games or something. Do something, even if it's not productive. Fucking do something that isn't drinking with the people you apparently hate, which I call bullshit on. Like, you wouldn't be spending all this time with them if you hated them. And g'day to Catch a Professor, great to see you. And Kevbo Obvek and Dr. Cassandra, mate. And I'm 200 pounds, between 100 and 200 pounds, as I'm rightfully informed by Kennedy. And the Ghost Tony Farmer, great to see you, mate. I don't even know a Nick. G'day Joel Davis and Lulu Bop 19 and Dan's confused entrance. And Leon Kennedy. And Crocker Jones. Got a little influx of people there all at once. Welcome.
Okay, so
I got bored because I had plenty to do. I don't know. Marie asked me why I went there. I told her I don't know. So I was just bored, and I just felt like going over there. Even though I can't stand. It don't make sense to me because as much as she's fucking me over and Wendy, she just grosses me out.
okay, so seeing as
promised you that.
Well, I mean, seeing as you're talking about how you don't like them, it's kind of strange that you would go there.
Well,
So what
see,
is better? Hang on a second. What is better? What are you getting out of it then that makes it better to go there than to not go there?
I like Tony, and Tony's really the only one that I like to drink with because he doesn't get stupid, and you know, we just sit there and relax and have a few beers.
Okay, well, number one, it's not just a few beers, and you know that.
No,
you're going to start there. Again, you know, if you're going to be honest, you need to be completely transparent, and you can't just brush it off as if I'm just having a few beers. I go over there. I like to go over there because it's fun, but yeah, I don't like them because they take advantage of me, and a lot of bullshit happens every time I go there. So it's really contradictory, the stuff that you're saying.
That's actually exactly the words I need to use, because that's exactly the way it is. It's exactly the way I feel. What you just said is exactly the way I feel. I enjoy myself when I'm over there, and I enjoy drinking with Tony, and I do have more than a few beers.
How many did you have yesterday?
No, Lorne, really? I don't believe it. And g'day, Lorne Legweek and Kilroy and Pee-wee the Great. It's Pee-wee.
Okay.
Say to get away from the trash. Huh?
How many did you have yesterday?
I had 7.
Are you sure
and you
about
know what, Lorne? Sadie would probably stay away from the trash if it didn't fucking stink. Like, take the trash out, and you won't have to worry about your dog ripping through it.
I think so.
What about when you got home?
I had 8.
You had 8 when you got home?
No. I had 3 over at Tony's, and I bought a 6-pack and came home.
So let me ask you.
But the story we hear all the time is that he goes over to Tony and Wendy's to drink with them because he doesn't like to drink alone. So he's now trying to spin that he only had 3 at Tony's and bought a 6-pack to drink by himself at home. So the story has changed from I don't like to drink alone, that's why I go and hang out with these people, to I will drink double the amount at home than I do with these people. Both can't be the same. Both can't be right, Lorne.
Let me ask you, what is it that goes on in your head that makes it okay for you to get in your car after you've been drinking?
Ignorance.
That's not good enough.
It's not okay to get in my car after I've been drinking. I know that. That's why I don't know why I go over Tony's to drink, because this is another thing. When he doesn't fucking drink anything, I don't know why. It's fucking stupid. I got so much to fucking lose, and to do something so stupid as go over
there. To Catch Professor says, I like when C3W loses his shit at Lorne, like, fix your life, mate. Jesus Christ. I'm just surprised you can understand me.
And then drive after I've been...
G'day, Ricardo Mercedes.
I've got so much to fucking lose. And I went through that with Maria today, and it blows my mind why I would be so stupid.
Well, why does it blow your mind? It can't surprise you. You do it all the time.
I never used to be like that.
What do you mean never used to be? Are we talking 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I got incarcerated.
Okay. G'day, Peter O'Keefe.
Okay, you're saying I was never like that, but since you've been there, you've done it a lot.
I know.
So I want to know what makes that okay. What makes it okay every single time you do it?
It's not okay. It's not okay for me to do it.
So what do you tell yourself then?
In every sense of the word, it's not okay for me to do it.
Then
why? What do you tell
hurt
yourself?
Somebody, I could really ruin my life and somebody else's life. It's not okay for me.
Yeah, and Lorne, no one gives a fuck if you ruin your life. You've basically already ruined your life. I mean, the only thing you've got left of your life is your actual life. And to be honest, and this is going to sound harsh, I wouldn't say this about anyone else, no one gives a shit if you lose that. The key thing here is how you would affect someone else's life if you hit them because you're driving drunk like the little prick you are, okay? So stop trying to, kind of coax out of Debbie here some kind of, well, yeah, Lorne, you will ruin your life, and I would hope that, or whatever the fuck you're going for.
To do it. I know it. I don't know
so
why.
And if you're going to drive drunk, make sure you hit a fucking tree with no one else around.
What do you tell yourself every time you're going to do it? Because you know when you make the decision that you're going to go over there, you stop at the store, you buy everything that you guys are going to be.
And Evil Little Nuggets wants me to start putting subtitles on my streams. They can only understand maybe 20% of the time. Well, you know what, Evil? I'm not going to put subtitles on, and I'm going to make sure that I'm even hard to understand just for you. Prepare to understand about 5%. Ha! Showed you.
Eating and drinking. You drive over there, you know that you're going to have to get home at some point. What is the plan? The plan is, as soon as you're done with the last drop, you get in your car and you start driving.
And Ellison asks, wait, is he still with Winnie during this, or is this a short period of time he imagines he is dating Debbie? My understanding from what I've been able to piece together is this is that kind of time where he thinks he's dating Debbie. Like, prior to him going to jail and her going off to date her cockfucks and all that kind of stuff. At first I thought this was Casey, but they talk about Winnie at some stage in these calls, and like Casey morphed into Winnie more or less. So it couldn't, to my understanding, unless I've missed something, which is entirely possible, it couldn't be Casey. So it must be that kind of, let me confess to you about how how I tried to fuck a kid, and that way you'll want to be with me type Lorne bit in the saga.
Yeah. And just to get it, usually it's to get away from Tony and Wendy.
Okay, so then you're gonna stop there too, because you had mentioned that you like to drink with Tony, and now you're saying you want to get away from them.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm on Top Chat Evil Wing Nuggets, but maybe I am. And if I've missed you, Spencer Silvera, I'm very, very sorry. Hello to you. I'll try to see what's going on in the chat.
Much Tony that I don't want to get away from this. Wendy, she's so selfish, self-centered. If you go over there without buying something for Wendy, Wendy doesn't want you there. That's why, another reason I don't know why I go over there. I just don't like them.
But that's the point, Lorne. They don't want you there. They are begrudgingly letting you be there because you are buying them shit. Does that make them great people? No, not really. Does it still make them a fuckload better than you? Absolutely, without question. But it's on you to figure out that, hey, these aren't actually real friends. So I shouldn't be fucking going over there and drinking when I'm not allowed to drink on probation, and driving home drunk when I'm not allowed to do that as a fucking decent human being.
Well,
I like Tony. I like Tony, but I don't like the way he acts with taking advantage of me, and with Wendy being so disrespectful to.
G'day, Cornville councillor.
To everybody. It's not unless you're her family. Like her brother go over there, she kiss his ass up and down. Friends go over
because
there
it's her brother.
And she treats him like they're second best to her. The fucking woman, she's never had an honest day of work in her life. But it seems like everybody owes her. I don't understand why I even have anything to do with them.
G'day, Jenny from the block. And, she's never done an honest day's work in her life, says the guy that ripped off 30 grand from an elderly couple.
I'm not going to do any more because I told Maria today, when I talked to Maria today, I told her that I couldn't understand that.
And g'day, Guru.
She said you want somebody to hang around, and that's understandable. But you're hanging around the wrong person. I said, yeah, it's something I should have realized years ago. She had me do up a list of reasons why it was a bad idea to go.
Do you have the list?
No, she's got the list.
Okay.
I should have asked her for a copy of it.
Was it pretty long?
Well, with all the things that we were talking about, it was a good list, and there's things that I need to sort out and do right, and reasons I need to not drink and not to go over Tony's, not to hang around Tony. The biggest reason was because he takes advantage of me. He doesn't respect me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nothing but a free beer to him.
Mm-hmm.
That and someone that he can use for borrowing tools and to help when he actually can do shit himself. He puts on this fucking pathetic, pitiful story of how my back hurts. And he puts his hand on his back like it really hurts. And no goddamn well it doesn't.
So
well, it probably does fucking hurt. Like, how do you know if it hurts or not? Are you a fucking doctor, are you? Are you a physiotherapist? You know if his back hurts or not. And, like, that is besides the point of this whole thing. This whole conversation so far is about you're drinking when you're not allowed to drink. You're wasting money that you should be paying back the people you ripped off on buying beers for these people, and you're drink driving. At no part is whether or not Tony's back is fucked a part of this conversation. What bizarre deflection.
Not going to associate with them anymore.
No.
And g'day, Woney attendee, Horses F Dink MD, Stu Putty, High Stakes Games. Hello to you all, and thank you, Sean McClure. I'll check out your email response a little bit later.
At all.
He's going to come over for the yard sale. I told them they could come over, bring the stuff over for the yard sale. I mean, I can still be friends with them, just not hang around with them. I can text with them, but not go over.
Okay.
Not go over, not drink with them, not buy beer for them. I'm not going to let him use my tools. If he wants to use my pressure washer, he can come over here to use it. It's not going over his house, because last year I let him use it, and I brought it over so he could use it. And he was supposed to spray his house down, wash his house down with it. He had the fucking thing there for 2 months. And I kept telling him, Tony, you going to use that goddamn thing sometime today, or this year, or what? When he finally used it, it took him 6 hours to do half of his house. I was so friggin' pissed because I wound up all summer without it because he just had it over there, not doing anything with it.
I don't think Tony is very well. Like honestly, like whinging about him taking 6 hours to do something, to do his house. Like, fucking don't lend it to him if it's going to be a big issue. And g'day, Jenny from the block. And apologies to the ghost of Tony Farmer. Lorne is saying some awful shit here about you when you can't defend yourself.
So I'm not going to let him do that again. He wants to use it again. I told him, you use it over here. You're taking over your house.
Okay. And what else did Maria say? Why isn't she giving you a breathalyzer?
Because she wants me to be able to talk about things. If I feel like I'm going to drink, she wants me to be able to talk to someone.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter who it is you talk to. Make sure it's somebody that's close to you that knows what stuff you're going through.
Okay.
Call me and you can talk to me. So if it's Dwayne, that class, the counselor class that you want to call, talk to him, even if they have voicemail on his machine.
Mm-hmm.
She said if it's anybody else, and somebody else that you want to talk to about things, and then talk to them about it.
Mm-hmm.
She said if you mess up, then at least call me and tell me or text me that you messed up and you need to talk. I don't want to mess up. I hate when I mess up because I create a mess. It's like yesterday, I was so happy yesterday because me and Roy was working. We got a lot of stuff done, cleaning up the yard and everything. We got a lot of stuff done. And I was so proud of everything that we got done.
Mm-hmm.
Then I took and fucked up, went over Tony's. When I took Roy home, I went over Tony's after that. And I'm sorry I fucked up. Sorry for going over there when I told you I wouldn't.
Well, don't apologize to me.
Exactly.
All I need to go. promised you that I wouldn't drink.
Yeah, but I knew it was going to happen.
I didn't want it to happen.
But like, she does not give a shit about your lawn. Like, and I think she's made that very clear. But you should be apologising to probation, to your therapist that are trying to work with you on this kind of stuff, not this fucking person that's catfishing you because you think there's an outside chance you may somehow get in her pants through it. And g'day you, Super J, and Stormy Reve. Sorry, I hope I've said that correctly.
Stupid fucking up.
The one thing that I know is that life isn't about being perfect. And there's a difference between, like, I think sometimes you think in terms of being perfect as like, I'm promising that I'm not going to drink again. And I'm not perfect though, so I'm going to. I'm going to go over Tony's. I'm going to drive drunk. Whatever it is that you're promising, you give yourself a little bit of an out because you say you're not perfect. And there's a difference between things that, you know, are just a matter of being human that make us unperfect. And then there's other things that are intentionally done. When you're thinking about an act and then you go and complete it, you can't toss that up and say, well, I'm not perfect. I know I promised, but I'm not perfect. So it's kind of like, I'm not perfect, so I'm not going to be in a good mood every single day. Or I'm not perfect, so sometimes I'll wake up on a Saturday and I don't feel like doing anything. I feel like hanging around, watching Netflix, not doing the whole entire to-do list that I normally have planned. But those types of things are just kind of like human nature. And we toss it up to just going with the day. And it's not a big deal because it's not having a major impact on our life.
Yeah, but with me messing up, it has a major impact on my life.
It does. And the other thing along with that is that you're doing things intentionally. The things aren't just happening. You're not just waking up in the morning drunk. You're driving to the store. You're buying everything with money that you don't have. You're driving over to Tony's. You're sitting there. They're pissing you off because you know that they're taking advantage of you. They're making comments. Wendy's being disrespectful. You get in your car as soon as you're done. You drive drunk. You come home. You start disrespecting everyone, including me. And then the tears start. And you say, I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I mean, what is there to not understand? It's so...
Debbie, to be fair, you did want a bad boy. Like, this Lorne is a bad boy. Like, so this is kind of your fault. And g'day to Fuck Off Upstairs and Dupee's fashion consultant, Crago, and Yarn Queen. Hello to all of you.
Clear. It's like every single thing. It seems like your answer when you're questioned about it is, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, are you just somebody who's floating in the breeze? Like, oh, the breeze is taking me the other way. I'm going to the liquor store. Oops. A beer. Oh my gosh. How did this beer get in my hand and why am I drinking it? I have no idea.
See, this is what messes me up though, because I drank. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was happy. I wasn't thinking about anything from my past. And everything today came out again. Everything that I said to you last night, everything that I did, the way I treated you, the way I treated Wendy, the way I just friggin' went off the handle. And all I could think about is, why does anybody want to have anything to do with me with the fucking past that I had?
It's a brilliant question, Lorne. And really, that, honestly, you should, well, I was going to say type that out, but you don't have a computer. But you should write that out and put that on every wall of your fucking house. Why would someone want to be with me? Or, sorry, why would someone want to have anything to do with me with my past? Because that is the perfect question, because virtually no one outside of, maybe your mum and that feel an obligation to are going to want to. So when, fucking these attractive, successful women are calling you up saying, Lorne, I want to be with you. Look at that and go, why would they want to be with me with my past? And then go, okay, no, this is a scam. I'm hanging up. When the mayor of Italy contacts you and, wants $6,000 from you, look at that and go, why would the mayor of Italy want anything to do with me? And don't pay that $6,000. I mean, don't confuse this with care. I don't give a fuck if you lose your money, but that would be the smart thing to do. When anyone contacts you, when you're at your 10-mile yard sale and people come up to you and want to have a chat, look at that sign. Have it on your outdoor printer that you're trying to sell, which no longer works because it's been out in the fucking rain forever long, and go, why would anyone want anything to do with me with my past? Answer that question for yourself, then move on with your day.
So
that fucking charge bothers me so fucking much.
Yeah, as it should. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that are going to be in your shoes. Some of them are sitting in prison because they killed someone. Some people are sitting in prison because they were driving drunk and they killed someone. That could be it. They could have stolen a crap ton of money from someone and now they have that guilt too. They can have charges that they don't just go away. They're not swept under the rug. And these are the types of things that shouldn't be. What you did should not be swept under the rug ever.
Maria tells me that I need to get past it and I need to move on in my life. And all I can tell is, do you realize what I fucking did?
Here comes
well,
the
she's not
waterworks.
talking about.
Yeah, I realize what you did, but I realize what you did, but you can't kill you and beat yourself up for it all your life.
Well, there's a difference there, though. There's a difference of saying, I did something terrible. I did something so bad. And I can look at the bright side of it, too, and say, it turned out a lot better than it could have, with there being an actual victim that you then would have to be responsible for. But, there's a matter of drawing a line in the sand and saying there's nothing that you can do to go backwards. Are you going to hate it every day? Yes, absolutely. And you should hate it every day. But you have to go on with your life. You have to wake up again the next morning and you have to do all the things that make up your life, whether it's take care of your dogs, go to work, talk to your mom, take care of your house. You do have to move on. Absolutely. But there's a difference because there's going to be no forgetting it. And you never should forget. I think that it would be scary if you did forget. If you said, you know what, this is something that I did 10 years ago, fuck off if you have a problem with it.
No, I can't be like that because I have a problem with it.
You should, absolutely, and that's good. I'm glad.
No, you have a problem that other people have a problem with it. Like, at the end of the day, and Witcher said it well in the chat, he is fishing for Debbie to agree with Maria here. That's what it comes down to. When you're like, oh, Maria told me to move on with my life, but I can't because it bothers me so much. If Debbie had turned around and said, you know what, Lorne? Maria's right. You do have to move on with your life. Look, that's done. Just forget about it. Just move on. Let's forget all about it. You would have been like, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. I can't change it. Let's move on. When you're trotting your ass down here.
I ever wanted to do or ever.
G'day, Printer and William Fetters and Michael Rodriguez and Cookie Whoopie Pie.
Stop right there. Stop.
I mean,
stop.
What I'm saying.
Stop. You have to stop. Wait a second.
You have to stop.
I'm not going to let you do this again.
You gotta let me finish.
No, you have to let me finish first.
Okay.
I don't want to hear, I didn't want to go. I don't want to hear that. Really, what it comes down to is, I didn't want to be that guy who did that. Because
that is what I'm saying.
Okay, wait a minute. Because you know what that means. You know what people think. You know what people think when they think about you. and when they hear about you. You don't want to be that guy, but you were that guy. That's what you have to accept. You can't be in denial and say, I'm not like them. I'm not like the other guys who went there. Because you were exactly like them, Lorne.
I know, and it bothers me.
It should bother you.
It bothers me.
But here's the thing.
I've never in my life wanted to be that guy that did that.
You were that guy. That's what you have to accept.
That's not so easy to accept, though.
You have to. You have to accept it.
It's not easy to live with.
I know, but you have to. All of this time that you've been saying to yourself, I didn't want to go there, has been blocking you. And it's blocking everyone from being able to move on from it too. I would be almost willing to bet that that's the reason why you're still in that class. Because you're still differentiating yourself from everyone else who's there as if you don't belong, and you do. The punishment that you've gone through is well deserved. The fact that you have to be inconvenienced and have to be on a registry and have to have your picture taken, go through all of this stuff, not being allowed to be like a regular citizen and have access to things like the internet, which is something that is pretty needed. You know, it's important for everyday life. I know I use it all the time. I do everything on there, banking, all kinds of stuff. So the fact that you're kind of grounded from that, like you can't have this, you can't have that privilege and that freedom to be able to do it because you can't be trusted. Until you prove that you can be trusted, legitimately trusted. And I'm not talking about just words, because we know that your words have been bullshit this whole time. But I'll say it again because it's really important, Lorne. You can't say, I didn't want to go there anymore. It doesn't work.
I know what you're saying. It's not.
I never want to hear you say that again.
Auntie never did. G'day, Aaron E, Omega Heber, and also Philip Waller.
I won't say that again.
What are you going to say instead?
I never wanted to be the guy that did that. That's actually the words that I've always meant to say. I never said it.
I think that even that was going to be too hard for you to say. I think that you really did mean, I didn't want to go there. Those were the types of things that you wanted everyone else to hear. Because like I was saying before, you want to differentiate yourself from everyone else. You see people that were on the show, like this Lurch guy that you talk about, how disgusting. The people who have been convicted of molesting other children. People who have been caught before. There was one guy who showed up at the house and then the very next day showed up again. Not at the same house, but it was the same, the same operation. So there's guys who walked in naked. There's guys who brought alcohol and all kinds of stuff. I mean, but you have to understand that you're no different from them. You were just as dangerous. You were a predator.
That's not what I wanted, though.
I know. Nope. When you say that's not what I wanted, you have to change those words in order for them to be actually correct.
But I need you to listen to what I'm saying, though.
I will listen, and then I'll correct you.
When I was sitting there talking on the computer, I never wanted. In my head, I knew I didn't want to go to the sing house.
Okay, what does that mean? Why not?
Just because it was just something to do, just sit there and talk to someone, and she made me feel like she cared.
Okay, but wait a minute.
After being so used by my family and feeling like nobody cared.
Okay, but wait a minute.
And that's what kept me talking.
Okay, but wait a minute.
But it's not like that's the thing. It's not about that you kept talking. Okay, firstly, and obviously, regardless of what the conversation is, you shouldn't be talking to a 13-year-old. There is no need for an adult to be talking to a 13-year-old like that, that you don't know on the internet. Like, just leave the 13-year-olds alone, right? But it, people wouldn't be having the issue if you were just talking about non-sexual things and you didn't go to molest her and all this kind of stuff. Like, and there's it kept me talking. Like, that's not the issue. The issue is the fucking molestation, you disgusting little prick. Like, it does my head in how he says this. Like, either he cannot or will not see what the actual point is here. And then for him to say, oh, well, she cared about me when others didn't. So what, that her reward is seeing your penis? Like, is that, it was like, oh, thanks. Like, it's like you'd be talking to a friend, like, like an overage friend, and, they helping you through a hard time. You're like, oh, thanks so much. Look, I really feel a lot better now. Here's my cock. Like, there's no correlation there.
What do you mean you didn't want to go there? Why not?
I mean, I did not want to go to the Sting House.
But why
I'd
not?
sit there and talk all day, but I didn't know why, because I knew in my head that it was wrong.
Okay, why was it wrong?
Cyber squeak, 13-year-old, excuse me, I need an ambulance, mate. I can't help you. Cornville Freeway said I can't talk to 13-year-olds. All right, if the 13-year-old needs medical attention, you can call them an ambulance. Get blamed for letting 13-year-olds die now. Cancel Cornville Freeway. He said let all 13-year-olds die.
Because she was underage. She was 13.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wrong for me to do that.
Right.
It was wrong for me to do everything that I did on there. But in my head, I was telling myself, I'm not really going to go there, so I'm just talking to her.
And g'day, Cat G, and bend over.
And they got on hand doing what I was thinking, and I wound up doing.
Okay. Can I ask you something? And we
Yeah.
had touched upon it the last time that we talked. The first time that you were talking to her, the very first day, when she said she was 13, and you were talking about how you're a good guy, don't talk to any other guys. And then it turned very quickly, and you said something like, did you ever hear anything in this room that made you say, wow? And what you were talking about was like, I'm assuming that they were, could say something sexual in the regular chat room.
Yes.
That you guys were hanging out in. Okay. So that was your first line.
Yeah.
Because that's what you were gunning for.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about you were feeling low because of experience.
But Alison, that 30-year-old isn't. Actually, I've read your thing wrong. I was going to say that, that homeless 13-year-old has a family that loves them, but I read your comment wrong.
That you had with your family, and your life was spinning out of control. There was a lot of stuff against you. You had that whole situation with Betty's house that happened, and you had to bail out of there. So you went to Nashville, and then
no, Catchy. Catchy says, for a second I thought you told me to bend over. No, I really should in future make sure there's a space between saying hello to someone and then saying hello to bend over. Do you see the problems you're causing here, bend over? Now everyone's going to be like, oh, I was in Cornwall Freeway's chat the other day and he told me to bend over.
You were getting on the computer. And so before it started turning into something about being in love with each other, it turned sexual before then. So I want to know, why did that happen? Knowing that she was 13, what turned you on about that?
I don't know. I'm being honest with you. I don't know.
I want you to think about it then. It did turn you on.
The thing is, I think about it all the time. Why would I allow myself to do that?
Okay. So not only, there's two different things.
It's not what I wanted to do.
Well, there's two different things. There's two different things that happened. There is something that is going on in your mind where you're getting turned on by something. And then there's the actual expression of that. So there was something about Kayla that turned you on. You knew in your mind, you're thinking, I'm turned on by this, but I know that I shouldn't do this. This is pretty out there. I would definitely get in trouble if somebody knew.
G'day, the time machine, and Aaron E. Wes and I have already recorded the apology video. We've just left in blanks that we can insert later when it's I get exactly what I'm cancelled for, so I can just slot that in.
But I'm turned on.
But I still went there.
Well, it's not even going there. It's I'm talking about the very first thing when you said, "Did anyone say something that made you say wow?" So it was fresh in your mind.
I was trying to find out if she saw anybody say anything sexual in the room.
Okay,
and that made her say wow.
And why would that be? Because you wanted to find out if she liked it.
Maybe.
No, not maybe, Lorne. Exactly. Like, that is exactly, there is no other reason to ask that. Like, what were you going to say? Oh, have you seen, anyone say anything that made you say, wow? And she was like, yeah, I have actually. I've seen a lot of really perverted stuff, some of which I don't even know what it is. What was your response going to be? Okay, you need to get off the internet now. You need to delete Yahoo. This is not safe for you, nice to meet you, but you need to get out of here. Fucking liar.
I'm not going to say no, because it's quite possible that was the reason. I was something messed up at the time.
Okay, you're going back to your normal. Okay. Well, I'm going to help you try to understand it. You're going back to the same things you always say. I was messed up at the time. I don't understand. I didn't want to. And like I said,
don't understand because I've never been like that.
But I'm going to help you.
I've never done that.
Lorne.
What? You had spent a long time talking to fucking MySpace Molly before this, trying to fucking stalk her at a fair, but you've never been like this. Bullshit. And there is no... And I know that I will say this over and over and over again throughout this stream, so I apologise in advance. There's no deeper fucking meaning here. You wanted to have sex with her because you're a pedophile and you're attracted to kids. That's it.
I'm going to help you. Hopefully understand. In order for that to happen, you have to take that away because that is your protection. You're using those things to protect you and be like, no. Thinking that I'm a child predator is way too scary. So I need to throw on the things of that wasn't me. I was really messed up at the time. A lot of shit happened. My family, blah, 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 blah. That's your protection and you have to take it away because I need to help you understand why.
I don't understand how I could do something so disgusting when I've spent my whole life protecting kids.
Okay. So one of the things that I had mentioned last time too is that the internet provides a platform, or it provided a platform for you to kind of touch into this fantasy that you had in your mind. Something that you wouldn't be able to just do in your normal everyday life because that would be way too scary. Approaching a girl who's 13 years old and talking sexually, saying something that could scare her so that she tells someone, that's way too much. And that's like, there would be immediate consequences to that, either by parents or schools. The cops would be knocking at your door. End of story. But somebody who's on the internet, it's again another safety net, somewhere that you would be able to engage in that and be turned on, be able to talk about stuff that turns you on that you wouldn't normally be able to do. That's where that came into play.
Because it wasn't a real thing.
No, it's not that it wasn't a real thing, but it wasn't something that you were engaging in with the people around you. So you weren't just going to a playground and chatting it up with a 13-year-old girl. you were doing it in the safety of your home where you could hide. And if something scary happened, like, you know, she says that she's scared or her dad gets on or something like that, you could.
Oh, and just bend over quickly in the chat. Ask anybody know where I can recover the holy lornography read by base shaman, dropped his phone in the ocean, lost blah blah blah. I thought he still had an archive thing. I'll try to find for you. But on top of that, he has now started a podcast where he is. I think he's released chapter 1 and 2 of it on there. So you could check it out there. And he's releasing like old chat log readings and stuff. It's pretty fucking awesome.
Just shut down your computer and completely throw it away or something like that. So
I don't know why I didn't.
And g'day, Kingpin and Ramona's diaper.
Think then why it wouldn't affect anybody with me just doing that.
Okay, so that's the reason.
So many people.
That's the reason why you did it. Is because you didn't think it was going to affect anybody. More importantly, it wasn't going to affect you directly. With the scariest part of the whole scenario is getting caught.
Yeah, that's definitely the scariest part of the whole thing, and I know that.
Okay. So then being on the internet took that away. So now that we know that part, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me
how I can bring myself to do that.
Well, it just ties into what we just talked about. I think it was you felt safe doing it. Being on the internet made it safe for you. So now that safety net was there, I want you to tell me what turned you on about Kayla.
It's because somebody was paying attention to me and not wanting something from me.
It never even got to that point, though. I'm talking about the very first time that you talked to her, because you're talking about.
First time. Well, okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Is when I first started talking to her, I really meant to be just a nice person, just to give her somebody to talk to.
Would you have done the
That's
same?
That's what I say when I said I never meant to.
Okay. Would you have done the same for a 13-year-old boy?
I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have.
Bingo, Tiffany. That is the question, and that paints this exactly as it is. So if he just wanted to care for this kid and, you know, give them something to talk to, it wouldn't have mattered if it was a boy. Wouldn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. Like that shows exactly that it was about trying to fuck that kid. And g'day, Tracy Hamill. Great to see you. And Richard Johnson.
Because it was a boy.
Okay. And you're not attracted to boys.
Right.
Okay. So that sort of chips away at the I wanted to be a nice guy story.
Yeah,
and what I find interesting here too, and this could be me, you know, looking too deeply into it as I tend to do, because Lorne's a pretty shallow pool. But when, he's lying. Like, he's a liar. He always lies. He's lying here because he is basically just going to admit what he thinks he has to try to get, you know, past Debbie's questions and then eventually into a relationship with Debbie. So it's not like he's just, you know, he's finally telling the truth. So he could have there said, well, no, you know, I would have done the same for a boy. Whether or not she believed that, probably not. But he could have stuck to that. But it is more important to him. But he would. But the point is, he wouldn't say that and he wouldn't try that because he's a fucking homophobe and, you know, he doesn't want people to think he's gay. So in his mind, he would rather be thought of as a pedophile than of a gay person, which is mind-blowing and staggering and just shows exactly what a piece of shit he is. And g'day to Desire and Evan Bay.
So then I want you to continue and I want you to explain what turned you on about Kayla. After all of that, I want to be a nice guy. Don't ever give anyone your name. Stuff like that. Because we're still talking about the very first day. Tell me what turned you on about Kayla so that you turned on your camera and showed her your penis.
You know, this is so hard for me to talk about.
I understand. I understand that it's really hard for you because you know what it means. You know what it's saying about you.
That I had bad intentions from the beginning.
What were the bad intentions?
To have sex with a 13-year-old girl.
Okay.
Jesus.
So tell me what turned you on about that.
Just the thought of it, I guess.
Okay. So what's the thought of it?
Just the thought of it.
What about the thought of it is exciting to you?
I don't know.
I know it's really hard to talk about. I know that it is. And I think that, yeah. But this is what Maria's talking about, you moving on. You have to get past this stuff. You have to get it out.
Let it all out, Lorne.
I'm sure that it's been bothering you this whole time. I'm sure it was bothering you back then. You had these thoughts in the back of your mind. They were there. It didn't just all of a sudden happen that night. You had them.
Jesus Christ.
And that's such a burden. Because there's a side of you that knows. You know. You know that you didn't want to be that guy. So I want you to keep pushing. You're a lot stronger than this to just stop yourself.
The thought of having sex with an underage girl that was a virgin.
Okay. And what was exciting about that for you?
Just because she was an underage girl that was a virgin.
So about it being an underage girl who's a virgin, what were the types of feelings that you were having about that when you would think about it? Like what was something in particular that turned you on when you were thinking about this? When you were having your moments alone, what would you think about?
Oh God, that is fucking hard to talk about.
I know. But like I said, it's going to be freeing for you. It's something that it has to happen, Lorne.
I've never gone this in depth talking about it with anyone.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're able to do that today.
Don't you feel special, Debbie? He's never gone this deep. It's all because of you. And g'day, Unreal SVT.
So I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to keep going. What did you imagine when you're having these fantasies? When you imagine yourself back then, what did you fantasize about? I know we said a younger girl, underage, who was a virgin. Tell me about that.
Oh, God.
He's such a loser. G'day, Dark Atheist. And Dan, he's my man.
Just her being naked, and me being naked with her, and me trying to be gentle with her, and
What was that?
oh God, you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear the very last part. You said being gentle with her.
That is, I love that. And I mean, I don't know if Tiffany legitimately didn't hear him then, or if she just wanted to repeat it. But either way, that is beautiful. That is right up there with when Joran read his whole apology to Wes, and then Wes was like, "Oh, sorry, what was that? The phone cut out," and he had to read it all again. Like that is just perfection. Chef's kiss, Chefry's kiss. And g'day, Shins Koala. Great to see you as always. And Cornville Foreskin, and Whitney's boyfriend slash husband. And that's it.
Cut out or something. What else did you say?
Oh God, I'm gonna
trying to be good for her.
What do you mean good for her?
I mean, being gentle with her.
Gross.
Okay. So you wanted to give her her first experience?
Yeah.
And what was exciting about that?
I guess it just being her first experience.
Do you think that that would make you an important part of her life?
Maybe that was part of it. Maybe this is, I wanted to show her that I cared, like she was showing me that she cared.
So what exactly does molestation have to do with showing that you cared?
Okay. And what else attracted you to her?
Her hair.
What, like her blonde hair, you mean?
Yeah. She was like blonde.
Okay.
She was showing me that she cared about me, and that meant a lot to me at the time.
And this is like, when talks about her hair, like, the blonde hair turned him on. And in the chat log, he talks about how he likes, running his hands through long blonde hair and all this kind of shit. I was actually having a conversation with someone the other day about a little theory I have about this, this is just a theory, based on what I've heard from Lorne, could be completely wrong, but like that is a very distinct kind of, I don't know if fetish is the right word, but a distinct thing that he's really into. And I thought, where does that come from? And I think that comes from his nieces. Like I've got no idea if his nieces had blonde hair or anything like that, but he is obsessed with his nieces. Like he talks about them so much, about when they're young, especially a lot more than a convicted sex offender should be talking about young kids. And I think when they would spend time at Uncle Lorne's and that, he would have been, I don't think he did anything overtly, sexual or molested them or anything like that. Not because he's a good person wouldn't do that, because he knows it'd be too much of a risk to get caught, because that would be, this is what Uncle Lorne did to me, and but I think he did a lot of stuff that still got him that kind of arousal or whatever, but he didn't think would be overt to them. So stuff like tickling games and brushing their hair and running his hand through their hair and that kind of stuff, and that's why he is obsessed with that. And I think probably, I mean, we know that the nieces don't talk to him anymore, and that is probably because of the sting. But on top of that, like there is evidence that they weren't talking to him when he was talking to Kayla before he got caught. Like, he would make mention of, MySpace must be playing up because, one of my nieces just came on and they went off straight away. And he took that to mean that, they basically lost their connection. But I think it's more likely they've come on, seen creepy fucking Uncle Lorne is on there and gone straight off. And so I think that as they got older, they started to realise what he was doing wasn't caring. It was much. So that's where I think that's it. Anyway, just a theory, but I think that's why he focuses so much on that with Kayla, because that is his thing. G'day, edamame. Did I think you had blonde hair? And all right, let's keep going.
Well, that happened later. That happened later because you had about a month to talk to her before everything happened at the end. So
at first it was just me being horny.
You were horny. Okay. And how did you feel when you found Kayla?
And g'day, Dustin Thomas.
That must have been really exciting for you.
What do you mean, how did I feel when I found Kayla?
Well, I mean, she's 13. She's exactly what you were looking for.
No, that's where I got to start, because she was not what I was looking for. I wasn't out looking for a 13-year-old. When I went in the chat room, I went in an adult chat room. I didn't go in a teeny bar for chat room.
Right, I understand
I was not looking for that.
Right, but you found her though. So when you found her, how did you feel? Were you thinking like, oh, finally, this is my ultimate fantasy that I can't tell anybody?
Vexy says, wait, wasn't Lorne on invisible in the chat? I mean, I could well be wrong. I usually am. I don't think he was. He definitely told Kayla how to go invisible, but that was, so she would be invisible to her friends so that they couldn't steal their precious time away from him. And I think also because he wanted to make sure no other sexual predators were seeing her online, so he could lose her. I don't know. He might have been on invisible too, but I don't think Lorne would have been on invisible because he doesn't want to. He wants her to have no other options. He doesn't want to limit his options, so he'd still want to be visible in case there was other 13-year-olds in there, like Disney Girl and fucking Kimmy Cocoa Pop, that he could, hedge his bets, until Kayla was a sure thing.
About
the stuff that I'm talking to you about, I've never gone in depth with anybody, including Emma or Winnie.
Okay.
With this stuff.
What about with Allie?
With Allie, I've never got this in depth with Allie about it either. I've never been this in depth with it with class. To go this deep into my thoughts.
I can tell you that they probably already know your thoughts, and they've been waiting to hear them.
Well, they've heard some of them. They haven't heard this in depth.
But that's what they're waiting for.
I have a problem going this in depth because I hate thinking myself doing what I do.
Right. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You just do it.
Yeah, like ripping off duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape. But you just do it because it has to be done. It has to be done. And that's how you can get the help that you need. When you're talking to Allie, or when you're talking to your class, and when you were talking to Emma, you knew these things in the back of your mind. You knew that they were there. And it was way too scary for you to say them. And unfortunately, the flip side to that is that they're not able to then help you in the best way that they can.
It's hard for me to deal with. It's hard for me to live with. It's not the guy that I ever wanted to be.
Right. And unfortunately, the internet gave you that ability to be that guy.
G'day, Honest. Great to see you. And yeah, good point. Why duct tape? Is he using it as a Band-Aid? And that's it. Duct tape doesn't really stick that well, does it? And so it's funny that his mind went there. So maybe that is part of the whole battery acid cure. So first you put on battery acid, then you put on duct tape, and that's how the wound heals.
Myself for doing that.
When did you start getting mad at yourself?
When I did it.
And g'day, Sigmund.
What do you mean right when you did it?
When Chris Hansen walked out.
Okay.
I was like, fuck. What the fuck is going on? Well, at first I was really nervous. I was like, well, who the fuck is this? I didn't know Chris Hansen. I'd never seen the show before.
Well, yeah, but it was an adult, and you weren't expecting an adult.
Yeah, exactly as Tiffany says there. The issue was it was an adult male that was there, or an adult probably in general, but more he hates males. That's what you were scared of, not oh, who's this guy? He makes it sound like, if it was the cops there, he'd be like, oh, Thank God, you're identified who you are. It would have been really odd if there was someone here I didn't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought was either her father or a cop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who Chris Hansen was. I'd never seen him before in my life.
That's fine, but like I said, it was an adult male walking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Who was obviously going to know why you were there.
Yeah.
So you were mad at yourself for getting caught.
I was mad at myself for getting caught. I was mad at myself for going there to begin with. So I knew better. I even said that in the conversation.
What did you say?
I could wind up going. I could wind up going to jail because of it. I said that earlier in the conversation.
Okay.
I knew better than to do it. And that's one of the reasons it's so hard for me to think about me doing it, because I knew better, and it was one of the reasons I didn't want to do it.
But the chance that she was real was better. It was a lot stronger. Because you couldn't pass up that opportunity.
And it's sick.
It's very sick.
One of the reasons I don't understand how I could possibly do that is because what I went through when I was a kid. I knew how much it bothered me. I knew how hard it was to live with it.
But that wasn't what you were thinking about when you were talking to her.
No, it's not.
So none of that stuff came up in your mind?
No.
It wasn't the pain that it could cause her, or the sadness, the regret that she would have had after.
Or the hurt that it caused her.
Especially because you were saying that you were in love with her and that you were going to get married.
Yeah.
Were you serious about that?
I wasn't talking about marrying her right then.
I know. Well, you couldn't, because it would have been illegal. You would have been found out if you tried to marry her right then.
Yeah. When I said that, I meant when she was 18. That's what I meant when I said that. And actually, I think I said that in the conversation.
Well, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't have.
What is even the difference there? Like, it made everything I was doing better because, while I was going to molest her for the next 5 years, she knew that there was a marriage coming at the end of it. So that really would have helped with all the trauma.
Been able to happen really before then. So in your mind, you were thinking, I'm going to have this relationship with her for 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why the hell I was thinking that. That I knew that wouldn't work. I really hate myself for doing that.
One of the things that I was thinking about that made me sad, out of the millions of things that made me sad about this situation, was that Kayla's first experience with a man, even just verbally, the things that he told her were going to turn out to be lies. She would have had to feel at 13 years old that a man will say whatever he thinks that she wants to hear in order to have sex with her.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's devastating.
And so I'm just pausing. Everyone is making a lot of great points in the chat, like they always do. And so firstly, g'day, Trooper Grandson. As he says, that isn't true either. He said they could say their vows in secret before she was 18. Well, in fact, the night that they met of the sting, he had asked, do you want to marry me on the 19th or 18th, whenever the fuck it was, 17th, I can't remember. So they were going to get married in their own little stupid fucking way on the night of the sting. Like, fucking hell. And then as Princess says, I love how he'll die on the I didn't want to go there hill, yet he was one of the most excited, least apprehensive Preds in the entire series. Absolutely. Like, he talks about not wanting to go there and all that kind of shit. Well, we've seen Predators that are nervous and that kind of stuff. He was not at all. Like, once he kind of did his little lap and he saw that there was no cops there, he was keen. And g'day, Shawshank and Tyler Brassford.
It's pretty selfish.
It's extremely selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I think that, in all honesty, the entire conversation was about you being horny. It wasn't about finding someone who cared about you or not wanting your money. It was all about your dick.
And that's what it wound up being, 'cause that's all I said.
That's all that you said, and that's all that you showed her. Like I said last time as well, I talked about this a lot with Winnie, and I read through the chat, and so much of it is burned into my head. Once again, when you're talking about emotions, and I found somebody who was paying attention to me, and that's why I kept talking to her. Again, that's a protection that you're using for yourself to differentiate yourself from the other predators.
I never thought of it like that. It sucks to have to live with it. What a piece of shit I was.
Mm-hmm. And that's not an easy thing for people to get past.
No, it isn't. It's not. I can't get past that. I think every fucking day.
Well, no, I'm talking about everyone else.
No, I know. It's affected me, my life, a lot because people haven't gotten past it. I can't get past it. Every fucking day I think about it.
What do you think about?
I think about why did I do it?
Well, we already talked about why you did it. We talked about why you did it. It's because you wanted to have sex with a 13-year-old. That was your fantasy.
How I can bring myself to do it is what I'm saying, because I knew it was wrong. And it's not something that...
Well, you brought yourself to do it in the white truck with grey on the bottom. That's how you brought yourself to do it.
I didn't want to be that guy that did that kind of thing. I knew how much hurt it would cause that person, because I had to live with it myself. I was so fucking disgusted by it. I know you don't want me to say this again, but I knew I did not want to go to the house. But I still went there.
Why did you go there?
Because the thought of having sex with an underage girl turned me on.
Right. So the answer of I didn't want to go there doesn't apply.
Yes, you're right. Because I didn't want to go there. I just didn't want to get caught.
Right. That's where all the planning came in. What
a fucking piece of shit.
Yep. You were a predator.
Yeah, as much as I hate fucking saying that.
Well, you didn't say it. I did.
No.
You say it, Lorne. And g'day, panties and bra.
I know. It's fucked up.
I think you should say it yourself.
I was a predator. No sense of me not saying it, because everything I did says that I was.
That's exactly it.
Ashamed of it. So fucking ashamed of it. Disgusted by it. Ashamed of it. Grossed out by it. Hurt by it.
So out of the two possible situations that it could have been, in that Kayla was a real 13-year-old girl that you had been exposing yourself to, that you had been talking about molesting her and participating in her rape. There's the possibility that she was real. And then the other possibility is that she was a grown woman sitting behind a computer, wasting your time in the hopes that you're going to be talking to her and not running into another 13-year-old.
I'm happy that I got caught. I'm happy it was a sting. I'm happy that I didn't get the chance to hurt anyone.
And not only that, not only showing up, and I know that that's obviously a huge deal, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. The damage to Kayla started way before you drove up her driveway.
I know.
The damage to Kayla started when you asked her if she knew what rape was, when you established yourself as a safe person to talk to, when you were the exact opposite.
Yeah, I know.
Look, to be fair, maybe Lorne's just like fucking Jeff Stacey. Like when he was asking, does she know what rape was? It was just a question. He asked everyone that.
These are the things that you have to verbalize. You have to say them out loud, and you have to admit them.
But the images started to her was when I started talking sexually to her.
And g'day, I drive truck for COD and the COD squad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna deny it and not say it because I know it. I know it.
Yeah.
Hurts like hell that I'm the kind of guy.
That's the guy who still needs help because he's never gotten away from you. He's been stuck there. You've been trying to suppress him, and he's not able to leave.
That guy, I don't know how that guy's ever going to be able to leave because he thinks about it all the time.
Well, I don't mean
He
leaving.
has a hard time letting people in because of what I did.
Yeah. And the opposite is going to be true as well. People are going to have a really hard time letting you in.
That's an understatement.
Sucks having to live with this shit.
I think that you're exhausted because you've been in denial for so many years.
It's hard to talk about.
I know. It is. The worst thing that you can do at this point, Lorne, now that you've started to talk about exactly what you were thinking that first night with Kayla, the worst thing that you can do is go backwards.
I don't want to go backwards. That's part of the reason for me going over to Tony and Wendy's, because they don't judge me. They just let me be me while I'm there.
Are you sure about that?
Well, as far as Tony doesn't judge me.
Well, Tony,
Wendy,
Winnie told
he probably
me
does.
that he actually laughs at you about getting arrested.
Oh, yeah, he did. But he tried teasing me about it until he realized that it pissed me off.
Yeah, I'm sure he gives a fuck if you're pissed off, Lorne.
Anger when I get out, and a lot of it was towards Tony, and Tony's actually the one that I took it out on. So I'd go over there, and we'd get drunk. I said things to him that
Drunk.
I'd been wanting to say for years. And he knew I was right in saying everything that I said. And we'd get to the point where we pushed each other around outside, pushed me on the ground, and pissed me off, so I got up and pushed him down too. Come there, motherfucker. Tried to fucking push me again. Kind of surprised him because he didn't realize that. But I wound up pushing him on the ground, but we never hit each other.
I think that a lot of your anger was displaced, like it was being placed in different people, in different situations, because you didn't want to admit what you did and your actual responsibility in it as being 100%.
Exactly, Shins. If he won't let you use his bathroom, he doesn't give a fuck about you. Absolutely. And that always makes me laugh how he tells stories about fucking some chick on Tony's bed. Like, if he's not going to let you piss in the toilet, he's not going to let you fuck someone on his bed, you fucking liar. And Shawshank, is this Debbie talking or Casey 1.0? Look, and I said earlier, I'm 99% sure it's Debbie, because it is hard to tell. And I actually did used to think this call was Casey, but they talk about Winnie at some point in this call, and Casey morphed into Winnie. So there wouldn't have been a scenario where Winnie and Casey were around at the same time. So I'm 99% sure it is Debbie. And g'day, Egbert.
Yeah, because nobody else drove me there. It was me that drove me there. It was me that put myself at the computer.
Right.
And we'll go for a little bit longer, guys, and then we'll have a bit of a palate cleanser because, fuck Lorne.
It was me that did the whole thing.
So I know that there's stuff that has gone on since then on the computer about you.
On the pooter.
And I don't know everything, but it looks like there's a lot of stuff. And from what I gather, it all comes down to these excuses that you've had. I mean, just scratching the surface, just looking at some of the comments that people have made, some of the posts and things like that, there's a lot of anger. And it goes with Like, how is this guy denying what he did? He's actually saying he didn't want to go there. He didn't want to talk to her like that. Is he seriously doing that? Like, what the fuck? And even on your channel, your own videos were 100% denial.
I know.
And that's why you've been trolled so hard. That's why stuff has happened. It seems to me the response from other people has been completely negative because you're in denial and everybody knows better. Everybody knows better.
I didn't want to admit it to myself. I didn't want to think myself that way.
I know.
I knew I didn't want to think of myself that way. I was ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
So you fucking should be. And g'day, Jay Robertson and Carl Hungus.
And that makes perfect sense. And so when they're getting these responses and these videos about how, well, I'm going to tell you why I went there. And it all comes down to my family and how they treated me. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought this was going to be about how he ended up there. And now he's talking about other people and how everything else seems to boil down to other people did things to me and pushed me in a direction where I ended up taking my dick out for a girl and I drove to her house and wanted to fuck her. And that is so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah, I know.
So think about it. When I talked to you last time, you were talking about he committed a crime against a poor 12-year-old girl. And his excuse was, I was drunk and I blacked out. And so it happened. And I'm going to move on with my life now. You did not accept that reason. You were thinking to yourself, being drunk is no excuse for what you did.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone has been hearing from you.
And g'day, All Might and Bud Roscoe, Private Dink. All right, let's have a little palate cleanser, hey? Let's have a weird versions, and seeing that this is largely talking about Kayla, let's have the Kayla song, I think. Let's just adjust that into there. I should have done all this before, but I didn't, so, you know, what are you going to do?
I like the porn you sent me.
Have you ever heard of the Beatles?
I think so.
Okay, well, it sounds exactly like the Beatles used to sound.
Why don't you sing for me?
Okay, are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Kayla, Kayla, you sound so sweet. Kayla, Kayla, no, you sound so sweet.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I still got that chest cold hanging on to me a little bit.
I'm sorry. That's okay. I still love you.
Oh, good. You better.
Sing for me.
Let me finish my sandwich. Hear me chewing?
What kind of sandwich is it?
Bologna. Did you hear me chewing?
Yeah.
Kayla, Kayla, you sound so sweet. Kayla, Kayla, you sound so sweet.
Thank you.
Are you anxious to touch my penis? I'm my precious little princess.
Aw, you're so sweet. I like it when you call me that.
Huh?
I like it when you call me that.
Huh?
I like it when you call me that.
Huh?
Why don't you sing for me?
Okay, well, it sounds exactly like the Beatles used to sound.
Okay.
Oh, Kayla, Kayla, you sound so sweet.
Wow.
Kayla, Kayla, you are so precious.
Thank you. What do you think?
I'm thinking I wish I was there with you right now. If I was, you'd be naked.
What?
Well,
What?
Well,
What?
Wow. You must really like me to want to talk to me that long.
I gotta go.
Okay, why are you rushing?
Why are you rushing?
Why does it sound like you're putting makeup on? Why are you putting makeup on at this time of night? 12:30 at night? Why? You better not be putting makeup on for that son of a bitch.
Little bit.
Why the fuck do you want to look good for this motherfucker? To cheat on your boyfriend?
Uh-huh.
You planning on fucking making out with a fucking doctor?
Uh-huh.
You are putting fucking makeup on for the fucking doctor.
Uh-huh.
Why would she do this to us? Is that motherfucker there, yo? Is he fucking there, yo? Are you fucking cheating on me?
Little bit.
Little bit.
Fucking son.
Oh, I love that. Thank you again, Weird Versions. That is brilliant. All right, let's continue.
Yeah, I know. Because I didn't want to admit it.
And now you have.
I hate myself for it. I don't want to hate myself. It's so hard to live with it, knowing what I did.
Mm-hmm. And now what you're going to be able to do is use
And g'day, Raiders of the Lost Cod. I didn't see you sneak in there.
the resources that you have available to make yourself better, to keep going deeper and to keep getting an understanding and not backslide. Because there's going to be a lot of people, Lorne, who are never, ever going to forgive you. Ever. Those could be people who don't know you at all. And they can also be people that are in your own family and people who are your friends. It's just going to be a part of the consequence. And they're not a bunch of assholes. They're not a bunch of people, can't move on with their lives. Nothing like that. It's just, that's the way that it's going to be.
It might take some time before I'm able to talk to anybody else about it besides you. As deep as what I've gone with you.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if that's the case for right now, that's okay. I'm hoping that you're going to be able to branch out from there. I'm hoping that you can talk to other people, including your probation officer and your class, especially. The denial that you've had for all of this time is why you have become so hated. No one can subtract what happened on that day or on that month. No one can take it away because it already happened. But then after that, you went to prison and nothing ever changed. The only response that people were getting from you is, no, it wasn't me. Not my fault. You need to look elsewhere. You need to look at the shitbags that are in my family instead. Look at what they did to me. I'm the victim. That's just not the way it is. So don't do that to yourself anymore. And the one thing is, you're not holding this big secret of your admission. Everybody already knows. It's just that no one's ever heard it from you. It's kind of like when we were talking about your money. Just because people aren't outright calling you an asshole and a fucking deadbeat doesn't mean that that's not what they're thinking. And that's not what they're telling their friends and their family. You've said before that you want to be a good man.
Yeah, I do.
You don't want people to walk around and look at you sideways like, oh my God, this fucking guy.
No, I don't. I think it's part of what hurts me so bad. It's because I know what I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard for me to live with it. That's why I just don't. I don't understand why I can't even like myself for what I did.
Well, I hate you for what you did.
And
that's
you should.
That's what the response is after.
Yeah.
I hate myself for what I did.
I know a lot of victims, Lorne. A lot. It's devastating to think about their pain and how they've been changed from that moment on. Someone that I know has been living with it for over 50 years. And there's scars on her body from how she would cut herself. Because that's how she would deal with it. She had so much pain. It affected everything in her life. She never had a normal relationship with a man. She never did. And it's all because someone like you came along. That's what breaks my heart. I want you to really feel that, Lorne. I want you to feel that it's because of people like you.
I do feel that. I know what you're saying.
No, you don't.
I know how they feel. That's what makes it so hard for me to live with what I did.
One of the things that makes me so sad is that you said you got mad at yourself when Chris Hansen came out. Because you got caught.
Yeah, it was because I got caught.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I know.
That's fucked up, Lorne.
I know it is.
That's something that you really need to think about. Because
I'm happy now that I got caught. I could have hurt her.
Yeah.
For life.
For life.
I know what happened to me, and it hurt me for life.
Oh.
Right. You would have destroyed her. Your intention to do what you did was to destroy her. Because you were horny.
I was selfish.
You were selfish. And all you thought about was your dick.
It's fucking pathetic.
It's sick. It's fucked up. Every disgusting word that you can possibly think of, that's what it is. That is why sexual predators like you are at the bottom of the barrel. Nobody gives a fuck. That's why you were probably in protective custody. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In jail. In prison, I was in general population.
Okay. Were you ever in protective custody in prison?
No.
What type of a cell block were you in?
And I'm very confident he's lying there. There is no way he wouldn't be in protective custody because he would be fucking murdered in general population. But also, it's the same way he whenever he lies and says no, he says it that way. He's like, no, like he shakes when he says it because he knows he's fucking lying.
Were you in with people like you?
No.
So you were in with people who were like...
Some had similar charges. Others had murder charges.
Okay.
Others had drug charges. It was general population.
Okay. Well, the reason why you were in protective custody when you were in jail is because you could have been killed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in jail could have been killed.
Yeah,
well, no, in particular.
But more likely, fucking pedophiles like you, cunt. Like, cut that bullshit out.
Someone like you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the possibility of you totally changing your story and going back to how it was before.
What?
Going back into denial.
I'm not going to go back into denial. You're going to be the only one that I get this in depth with it both for a while.
Well, hopefully it can be with the professional people in your life, the people that can actually help you process a lot of this stuff. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not someone who's been trained to deal with someone like you at all.
But you're the one that I choose to be opening up to first about all this, that I trust to talk to about all this. Even though I know I can talk to Emma about it, but it's still not the same because it's just not the same.
Why wouldn't it be the same?
Because it's not. It's not you.
Well, no, I know it's not me, but she's your best friend.
Yeah, but it's still just not the same. And I don't trust them. I mean, I probably do trust Emma with my bank account information, but not to the point where I had to actually give it to her. Does that make sense?
Because he can't get this deep with Emma because he doesn't want to fuck Emma. Like, that's what it comes down to. Don't you feel special, Debbie? Like, you must feel really, really special that he wants to share this with you. Like, I mean, it mustn't be long now until you trot your ass down to Maine and take his virginity. And Shins Koala says he was in a segregated pod. Anyone who didn't have sex charges were either snitches or ex-cops in need of protection. Okay, thank you very much for that. I had assumed much like that, but it's good to actually know that, which makes complete sense. And g'day, Inf No and Mr. C.
Not really.
As much information as I've given you about me, I don't really trust anybody that much to give that much information about me. It's not one thing about me that I won't tell you.
Okay. Well, Emma, she actually knows about this stuff.
I know.
In between Winnie calling her a Mexican and a wetback, she tells me that she's really smart. Yeah.
So I don't think of her as a Mexican because to me she's just Emma.
That's nice.
And I'm not prejudiced anyway, so
That's
whether she's Mexican or not, but
right.
But it's still not something I'm ready to get this in depth with Emma about.
Okay.
If you only want to be this in depth with it about any of it right now.
I mean, hopefully there does come a time when you'll want to, or you'll want to talk to someone.
And g'day, Hardcore Poetry and Wayne Tech 10.
You know, someone in
and Dragon Words.
And if that I mean, I can be on the phone with you when that happens. I don't need to say anything. I can just be there.
I love that.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So whenever that time comes, you want to talk to Emma. I know Dan. Dan's a good guy. I might skip over Winnie for the time being.
I think there's still more that I need to figure out, too.
What do you need to figure out?
I guess, what I say to you, be a good girl. I guess just, I don't know, it bothers me so bad that I did it.
But what do you need to figure out?
How I can bring myself to do it.
What do you think you're going to find, you know, at the end of that road? You're going down this road of trying to figure out how you could do it.
G'day, that damn doctor.
What do you think you're going to find there? What are you expecting?
I don't know. I'm not expecting anything. I just trying to figure it out after what happened to me and how it affected me. How could I bring myself to do it? What the hell is wrong with my head? Let myself do it.
Well, I'm going to ask something of you, and I'm hoping that you can continue to be honest. And I'm going to ask you, when did the fantasy start about you being with someone who's young, underage, and a virgin?
Then when I started talking to her that way, that's when that fantasy started.
Do you think that you had been denying that fantasy for a while, and the opportunity presented itself in more of a safe way, and that's why you're able to engage in it?
Maybe.
Okay, so let's figure that out. When did you start thinking about that?
It's something I have to think about because I don't know right off the bat.
But it was before that night.
That's what I don't know. I can't remember ever thinking like that. Or maybe I have thought about it before when I heard about people doing it.
What did you hear about?
On the news, people doing it. Or
The news.
Stories of people told me about people doing it. Maybe that's when thought started about it.
So you would hear maybe something similar, an older man being with a young girl who was a virgin. And even though that story was on the news, because obviously, most likely he got caught after the fact, after something terrible happened. But that turned you on.
As much as I hate to admit it, I probably did. Maybe that's when thoughts started about it. I don't remember.
All right. Remember that, because every other time this is brought up, he denies. He says it didn't turn him on. He just he thought about it and he thought about like so. Very clearly there, he just said that turned him on. And g'day, Don DeLietta. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
When exactly, but I know
And Matt Ryan.
Heard stories about it before, and that's evidently somewhere along the way. That's when the thought about it came into my head, but I never acted on it, and then I never. It was not. I never stopped and thought about it all the time like that. I don't know whether maybe that's why I don't remember thinking about it. Somewhere along the way, the thought was in my head. It's not something I ever dreamed about.
Did you ever think about it when you would masturbate?
No.
Why not?
Because all I thought about was women my age.
So when you would hear the stories, like on the news or something, it would turn you on.
Evidently. Somewhere along the way, it must have. The day that I turned 37 was the day I tried to play on it. Well, actually, it was a month before that, but I started trying to play on it.
What about any other people online? Because you've been online for a while, right? You didn't just start when you went to Nashville.
No, I was online for a while.
Okay. So,
please,
had you ever come across someone who was young like that?
No.
I mean, I know you weren't going into teenage chat rooms and stuff. You were going into adult chat rooms, but obviously we know that there's nothing really stopping anyone from
He was looking for an adult girl.
Going in there. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but I never. Well, the ones that I talked to, one was Amanda James, which her actual name was Leslie Miller.
Even just casually.
I was 30.
Because I'm not talking about like long relationships and things like that. I'm just casually.
Even just casually, I never talked to anybody that wasn't young like that.
So I'm curious.
Liar. And Night Carrot Gaming, have a good one, mate.
Curious about something, because I know that with Perverted Justice, they had their decoys, and they were positioning themselves in these chat rooms to see what would happen, to see if they were approached. And there were a couple of them that were there. It wasn't just Kayla. But when you were reaching out to them after a couple of lines, they bailed because you were already talking to Kayla.
See, they say that, and I've heard about them saying that before, and I don't remember talking to anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand you not remembering because it was so brief. It was kind of like you would go to them and it wouldn't go anywhere. It would only just be a couple lines, and then they wouldn't respond anymore.
I remember there was one room that I was in. It was an adult room.
Okay.
And I remember that I went down the name of every girl and just said hello to every girl in that room.
But why?
Just for something to do.
Just for something to do. Just sitting around bored. I might go and say hello to every girl in the room, in this chat room. Like, this guy has major fucking issues with boredom. But like when other people are bored, they go and do something productive, or they just sit and watch TV or that. Basically, when Lorne's bored, someone's going to get fucking taken advantage of, basically.
I didn't mean to talk to anybody and have a conversation with anybody. Just every female in that room, I went down, said hello to every one of them. I remember that one room that I did that in.
Okay. And I'm assuming that that's the one where you came across Kayla, because that's the story that you've used since then.
I don't know.
And maybe my American friends here can help me out. But is a ROM like a room? Like, is that similar to a room? I've never heard of a ROM before.
I don't remember if that was the same room or not.
Okay.
I just would click on the names and I'd say hello, then I click off the names and I go to the next one and I do the same thing.
Just hoping that somebody would answer.
No, I just.
Well, then what would be the point of saying hi?
I don't know why I did that.
again, I don't know why is really stupid.
Well, it might be stupid, but it's just I did it. I didn't really need to have a conversation with anyone. It just clicked down through every female name and said hi.
But did they have little pictures next to
bored,
their
I guess.
names or something? How would you know?
A rum only has 3 walls.
No, it was, how would I know if it was
Did
female
you?
or not? I know. I
Yeah.
look on their profile and it would say female.
Okay. And then it would have a picture
well,
in there, though, right?
well, some of them had pictures and some didn't.
Okay.
But do I remember any of the pictures? No.
Well, not. I understand that. Do you remember Kayla's
No.
picture?
On her profile? No.
Oh, yeah, but you remember the other pictures, don't you? I've been staring at it for the last hour. Honey.
I remember the pictures that she sent me.
Oh, I bet you do,
Okay.
you little perv.
Or some of them. But I remember some of them. And even at the time when she sent me the pictures, I don't know why I couldn't see it at the time, probably because I didn't want to. But I knew they were different girls. So there was at least 2 different girls that weren't the same.
And doesn't that just make you a fucking idiot?
Did you think that maybe she's so young that she's going to look different, depending on when the pictures were taken?
I don't remember what I thought of. No, I don't think I thought that. Just because I could tell that they weren't the same girl.
And what did you think when you noticed that?
I thought something was messed up because it's not the same girl. But
What did you think was messed up about it?
That she was telling me she was the same girl, and it wasn't. I could see that it wasn't the same girl.
Okay.
And that's what's messed up about it. Because I didn't say anything to her. I didn't let it click in my head that, this is messed up because she showed me 2 different pictures. And it's not the same person.
What about when you called her on the phone?
That messed me up too. She didn't sound like she was 13.
She sounded like
she sounded like she was
8.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that messed
And
me up.
No,
It didn't sound like
no,
it messed you up.
no. You did not mess you up. It made you even more excited and even hornier. You instantly heard the change in your voice. I mean, yes, you're already excited to talk to your precious princess for the first time, but, you answer the phone, you're like, hi. And then she was like, hi. And you're like, oh, you sound so sweet, you little fucking liar.
No, it didn't sound like it did. But
Because that was before Chris Hansen came out.
When I got off the phone, it messed me up because I was like, that doesn't sound like a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, you're a liar.
And when I got there, and Casey was there, and her hair was brown, that messed me up.
I thought you'd have blonde hair. It's pretty. I think it's very pretty. G'day, wee man. And no, he's not owning up to shit. He's exactly like you said there. He's trying to tell Tiff what he thinks she wants to hear.
Everything clicked that nothing was the same, but nothing was clicking to tell me.
So then, when you were talking to Kayla, I don't remember exactly her name, but it was something like Kayla Princess, right? It was something like super girly, like young.
I'm sure you know what it was, Lorne.
Yeah.
So when you saw that name, you imagined that she was a young girl.
I don't know what I imagined when I saw her name. I don't remember what I thought.
What about when you saw her pictures?
When I saw her, what are you asking me though?
I'm asking you, like, what made you want...
What are you asking me? What he's really trying to say is, what exactly do I have to admit to? What are you claiming to know that I have to agree to, because I'm sure as fuck not going to admit to anymore.
To continue.
I won't tell you that I know, but I don't. Other than the fact that I was horny. And the thought of the whole thing.
Horny.
Mm-hmm.
Lorne's horny.
That's what made me want to continue.
One of the things I think is interesting too is that when you were talking to her on the phone, so there's a couple of things. You see her name, it's obviously a kid's name. You say hi to her. How old is she? She says she's 13. Eventually, you talk to her on the phone. She sounds like a little baby. Literally.
I know.
Nothing deterred you. There was nothing that made it real. Or I should say too real.
G'day, Lorne's dance instructor. Well, you certainly have your work cut out for you. And Duchess, okay, fantastic. I'll unpause now. And good night, Sean McClure.
For you, that you were like, oh my God, I'm so disgusted with myself. This is too much. I am out. I can't believe I'm doing this. So
do you understand why there's more for me to figure out?
No.
Well, there's more for you to admit.
Yes.
The answers are there. We've already been through some of them. You're just burying them because you don't want to say it. You pull out your security blanket that says, I didn't want to go. I never even meant to do it. I've never had those types of thoughts before. I'm not attracted to young girls like that. I'm not that guy. My family and friends know me. They know I would never hurt a child. I've always loved kids. All of those things come out because the question of why you did it and how could you do it are way too difficult for you to answer. There's absolutely nothing to figure out, Lorne. You already know.
I did it because I was horny and the thought of it.
Right. And the thought of it did not just pop out that day when you saw her. It didn't just materialize that day. You've been fantasizing about this for a long time. And finally, it became safe for you to push it further, to actually say the words to her.
But I've never masturbated to it. I've never sat there and like at the day, all the fucking crap that I said to her. I've never sat there and thought about this stuff like that. I've never sat there and had big fantasies of having sex with an underage girl.
Highly doubt that. And really, you've already admitted as much as this, not long ago when you said that did arouse you. And g'day, freaky gyrations.
I've never gone to that depth till that day.
If you didn't masturbate to it, if you didn't, think about.
So the naked webcam parties with Molly, what was that all about then? And g'day, Z-Cat.
The things that made it having sex with an underage girl exciting for you. If you never thought about it before that day, why did it all of a sudden hit you?
All right, and that is the end of part one. So we're going to leave it there for tonight. So there's 2 more parts to this, and so I will be doing those ones next week. So that'll be it for the week for me now. I'll be back on Sunday, your Sunday, with the Sundays with COD after party, and then hopefully doing a few more streams next week as well. So look, thank you all very much, guys, for being here. G'day, Curiosity George, just getting in at the end there. So sorry. Thanks for being here, guys. It's always a pleasure. You guys are always so much fun. And have a good rest of your week and a great weekend if I don't see you around, in the other streams. Okay, guys, don't forget to delete your archives, and I will see you all soon. Bye.